Thank you all for being here. It's 1 o'clock. Looks like we have all five commissioners in attendance. Let's start today's agenda with an invocation. Mr. Cook, would you offer the morning invocation, afternoon invocation?
Let us pray. Lord Jesus, we love you today. We're so thankful to live in the land of freedom, and we just worship you and give you glory. I'm reminded of the Apostle Paul admonishing us, and he said, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." Help us today to extend grace to one another, to have unity. I know we can have debate without division, Lord, and I just pray that you would bring us all together. Help us to find the mind of Christ for this Board of County Commissioners meeting. Help them to make the right decision with the citizens' input, and we'll be careful to give you all the praise and the glory because you're due it all. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's start with some recognitions. We want to recognize Danny Garner, our Beach Code Compliance Manager, on his retirement with 41 plus years of service to our county. Mr. Garner, are you here? Mr. Corman, you're recognized.
You here, Danny? I'm here. Thank you, Chairman. Today we're recognizing Mr. Danny Garner, 41 years, as you said, with the county. Most of that was with the Sheriff's Office, but several of it has been with the Code Compliance Department as our beach side manager. I've had the privilege of working 12 of those with Danny. Danny was always available, super guy to work for, and so we're wishing Danny greatness in his future endeavors. I talked to his wife earlier, and she's got some plans for him, so he's going to be pretty busy. So,
Mr. Garner.
Just want to tell you, thank you for allowing me to serve the people of Walton County. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I didn't realize it was 41 years, but I guess I'm getting old. But thank you again.
Thank you, sir. We will, we're going to, Mr. Garner, hang tight. We're going to get a photo with you. But commissioners, let's go through all of them, and then we'll do them all at once, so I don't have to have my. But stand. Yeah, don't go very far. All right. Second, we have a recognition for Eagle Springs Golf Club. Mr. Supple, are you here?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Shane Supple, Parks and Rec Director. I want to say thank you, Commissioner Gladwell, for we finished second in the Perfect Awards, the Platinum Award between Camp Creek and Santa Rosa Beach. So really proud of that, but wanted the guys to come up, and they're not going to speak. They said they would. Just wanted them to come up here and get some recognition because these are the guys that do all the work. So
we thank you guys very much. Don't go far. Don't go off far because we're going to come back for a photo.
Mr. Chairman, could you have Mr. Supple talk about his other life-saving efforts this week, or last week?
he's back there in the audience. He probably doesn't want to come up, though. So we had a pretty exciting time last Thursday. I wouldn't say exciting, but turned out great. We had a golfer who's been a friend of mine for, it's hard to call him a friend. I've known him since I was 11, 10, maybe younger than that. He's probably known me since I was born. But anyway, he was playing golf with some friends of his that he normally doesn't play on Thursday. He normally plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But this little group of friends started playing again. He's playing golf on number 8. He had a medical incident and some kind of cardiac incident. Not sure exactly what it is yet, but he fell out on the cart path, for lack of a better term. And Just so happened there was a onesome playing behind him, which normally a onesome will play through, but this guy was playing behind him patiently. And he looked up and saw him, and he went and rendered CPR, got his pulse back, and more than likely saved his life. So anyway, went and talked to the gentleman and found out he was a retired cardiac nurse, 11 years in the ER open heart operating room. So just a miracle. So just an absolute miracle. So it was a really neat story. So anyway.
That's called an act of God.
That's right. That's exactly right. And then apparently, I just spoke to him a while ago. He went, may have been today, he went to call to thank him, and he turned around, and the guy was standing right in front. One thing after the other. But anyway, thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you, Shane. All right, you guys just hang tight, don't go far. Next, we have some recognitions for the FFA.
Yes, is Miss Suzanne there? Come on up with her crew. Somebody had sent me this article about these young ladies and what they did at state, so I figured this would be a great opportunity for them to come and get a little embarrassment and maybe a photo with these 5 people up here. So if you guys would like to say something, go ahead.
We first want to thank Mr. Curry for inviting us and giving these students their recognition that they so well deserve, that they have been working their tails off since probably August, even before then, because some of these students have been on this team for multiple years. We just want to thank you for giving that recognition to them, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Ma'am, state your first and last name so we can recognize you properly.
Daniel.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel.
Hi, my name is Kinsley Wyatt, and I've been on the dairy team for 2 years.
Hi, my name is Courtney Herring, and I've been on the dairy team for 2 years.
Hi, my name is Adeline Miller, and I've been on the dairy team for 1 year.
Hi, my name is Bristol Ward, and I've been on the team for 2 years.
What did you guys win? What did you place?
Sir,
What did you place? Did you guys place 5th,
we
6th?
placed first
First.
at our
First.
state competition.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank
These
you.
are 12 to 14-year-olds, so we're proud of them.
So 2 years, you get first place. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, girls.
Y'all wait, we won't.
Yeah, don't go too far. Next, we have a recognition in honor of Ms. LaWanna Rinker.
I'd like to hold that off until after we do this other. I'd like to do that after we do that picture.
Okay. All right, let's start with Mr. Garner. guys got second place in the best of the best. Next year, you know what the goal is. All right, do we have any additions and deletions? We have an addition, Kobe.
Chair, I'd like to mention Luana Rinker
Okay,
now. Is that all right?
sure.
Okay. Hello. First of all, Luana Rinker worked for Walton County for 24 years. She worked for the Supervisor of Elections, and she was initially hired by Melissa Bailey in 2001. She worked for 3 different supervisors, Melissa Beasley, Bobby Beasley, and Ryan Messer. She worked in that office for 24 years, and in 2013, she was awarded the designation of Master Florida Certified Election Professional. I don't know who is in the room on her behalf. I don't know if...
Bobby or both.
Okay, Ryan and Bobby, okay. Well, thank you for being here. Luana was a very special person, and I really had a lot of respect for her. She was just such a great addition to that office, and she was just so honest and helpful and knowledgeable. She was just really a wonderful person, and unfortunately, we lost her not long ago. And it reminded me that when I started talking about food trucks, I got an email from Luana, and she said, she asked me, she said, "Good afternoon, Donna. I heard you saying something about food trucks in the South End. During one election, we had a vendor that wanted to have a food truck in the parking lot of the annex, and we were told that food trucks were not allowed in the scenic corridor." And then I responded to that, and then she responded to me again, and she said, "Well, it's worked really well for Main Street and Defuniak. People up here love them. There's one that says off 311, kind of behind the old car wash, called Don Taco, that has a steak taco salad that's delicious." So we have put together a pavilion at the South Annex. We've redone the area that was just a piece of ugly concrete there, and we've put turf on that. We've got picnic tables coming in and shade coming in on the side, so there'll be about 6 tables so that people that work in the South Annex can actually sit outside and enjoy and get something to eat. And the food truck is a pilot program, and it is included in the South Walton Annex. So what I would like to ask this board to do is I would like to make a motion that we designate that pavilion at the South Walton Annex as the Luana Rinker Pavilion in recognition of her 24 years of dedicated service to Walton County.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of the motion? Well, anybody have any additional comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say, being the senior member of the board, people think running for election is just throwing your hat in the ring. And it's much more than that, and it's tons of paperwork. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer. But for me, I had Luana on speed dial.
Yes.
And very helpful. Ron and his whole office, Bobby and his whole office. Bobby was still supervisor of election when I ran the first time, and it's without those people, it is hard to run for office. It's hard to campaign, it's hard to get, there's just so much paperwork you have to keep up with. And if you don't, you're breaking the law. And so people like LaWanna just basically walked every one of us through that. And I can never say enough about LaWanna. I've known her practically my whole life. And what a wonderful person.
I like-
We're gonna miss her.
I'd like to piggyback on top of that, exactly what Commissioner Anderson said. Every time I would call up there, I wouldn't even say my name. I'd just say, hey, this is your pain in the butt calling. And she'd say, hey, Mr. Curry, what can I do for you? So I cherish those moments. She helped me a lot. She was always available, always. I don't think there was a time that I called up there and she was not available. So she's going to be dearly missed. She is.
Yeah, she, every time I said, this is your pain in the butt, call her, she said, Mr. Curry, how you doing?
Well, I'd just like to say, Luana was almost perfect, but she had one flaw. She was an Auburn fan, and I thought Bobby would get her out of that, but he never could. But other than that, she was just about perfect.
She really was. She was absolutely wonderful and a treasure.
I certainly could not go without offering some comments as well. I mean, every organization, whether it's government or private, there's always that one individual that excels in the office. They have command of what their responsibilities are. They're helpful, they're resourceful, they're kind, they're courteous, they're knowledgeable. LaWanna exemplified all of those things, and I think both of the supervisors of elections officers that are here today could attest to that. In fact, would you guys, Ryan, Bobby, would you come up? Would tell you that she was a model employee, and for any candidate that has ever pursued running for office would tell you that she knew what she was doing, she helped you, she helped keep everybody from getting in trouble, because there are governing statutes in running for office, and LaWanna was a master of understanding those rules and regulations, and so she will forever be missed, but I think that her legacy lives on, Ryan, with you and what you're doing with the office and how you have conducted the elections, and I couldn't think of anybody better that suited for that job than you, and we're very grateful for your service. Would you and Mr. Beasley, you want to go first and maybe offer some comments on behalf of Ms. Rinker?
You know, LaWanna, everybody that knew her knew what a wonderful person she was. She was a great person, and you know, she's lighting up heaven now. I know we all know that. It was real hard Christmas holidays when we lost her, but you know, she was just a salt of the earth, great person, did everything right, and helped a lot of people that people didn't know about. Is that 3 hours or 3 minutes? Because I could talk about her for 3 hours. She was a great
On behalf of Ms. Rinker, we'll give you as much time as you'd
everybody that knew her
like.
knows that, but everybody that didn't, that's a great honor to dedicate that to her, Donna.
Thank you.
Y'all, we need to do more than that for her. She was just, she helped so many people in so many ways, not just through the elections, but through the community and all. Just a fantastic person, one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And of course, we'll all miss her, but we'll also remember all of her really great deeds and what all she did for everybody. And super person.
Thank you, Mr. Beasley. Ryan?
I think all of y'all have said it very well. To piggyback on that, I mean, LaWanna, I worked side by side with her for over 19 years, and you don't work side by side with someone like that every day that they don't become more than just a coworker. She was a dear friend, a precious Christian lady. Couldn't have asked for a better mentor. These two, Mr. Beasley as well. I was very blessed, and she was the ultimate public servant, as y'all know, as y'all have stated. And her legacy will be left in our office and an example for us to continue to go by. So I appreciate the gesture. I know her family will appreciate it, and if there's a ceremony later on, we'd like to be involved in that. So thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Messer.
Thank you, Commissioner Johns, for bringing this up.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to make sure that included in that motion is that we do design and have some sort of plaque or something in her honor at that location.
I'll amend my second to that.
So we'll accept the motion as amended and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Show that adopted 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, we have two additions. Mr. Kobe Townsend, the city manager of Definiak Springs. Mr. Kellenberger, where would we like to put that?
We've already added that under citizens' request on the regular agenda.
All right, and then we have the Tourist Department Administration. We will add that under the relevant category.
Yes, sir. It's already added.
Let's show that done without objection. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show that motion adopted. Now the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Anderson, seconded by Commissioner Johns. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show the motion adopted 5-0. All right, let's move to tab 19, citizens' requests. We'll have first Ms. Terry Jenkins. Is Ms. Jenkins here? Okay, is there anyone on behalf of the organization that would like to?
Come on up. Hey, how you doing?
State your first and last name, please.
Alicia Quinones?
Spell your last.
Oh, Quinones.
Thank you, Ms. Quinones.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
To record. Whereas in March, we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors who make its humanitarian mission possible in Walton County. Every day, their acts of kindness change lives, bringing relief, comfort, and hope when help cannot wait. This compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. And whereas those who serve with the Northwest Florida chapter light the way during emergencies, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after disasters, providing a safe, life-saving blood supply for patients facing conditions like cancer treatments, childbirth complications, and traumatic injuries, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, or empowering individuals with skills like first aid and CPR that save lives. And whereas these collective efforts are a powerful reminder that the strength of our community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, let us celebrate our local heroes and resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Walton County, Florida do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month. We encourage all citizens to reach out and support its humanitarian mission.
Thank you.
Motion
Thank
to
you.
approve.
Thank you, Ms. Quinones.
Thank you
All right, so
very
we have a
much.
motion by Commissioner
Second.
Wells to approve, second by Commissioner Curry. All in favor of adopting the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Show that done 5-0. All right, let's skip addition 1 for now. We'll come back to it under citizen requests. Let's move to tab 20. Mr. Kellenberger, 2026 Lowe's Community Grant Program. Mike, are you here?
Mike Thornton, Thornton, Deputy County Administrator. Mr. Chairman, my purpose here today is to make the commission and the general public aware of a program that the Lowe's Corporation runs, which is a community enhancement grant program. It's actually administered by Lowe's. It is for projects that benefit a community in total. It includes projects such as community centers, safe, affordable housing, first responder facilities, community revitalization, which includes parks and gardens, downtown plazas, and also skilled trade education. Projects can be nominated by any U.S. citizen that's 21 years of age or older. And these projects have to be sponsored or partnered with a 501c3 or governmental entity. The purpose of bringing this to your attention, several of you got an email and question about county projects. They are eligible for this program. The issue that we have is it was brought to our attention a little late in the game. We have until March the 20th for any submission deadline. And there are some limitations. It has to provide a benefit to the community as a whole. It has to involve physical improvements or enhancements. It cannot be land acquisition or things like that. It has to be completed by December the 15th of this year. And it also has to provide volunteer opportunities for Lowe's associates. In other words, photo opportunities for Lowe's where they're participating in the project itself. And it has to be located within 30 miles of a Lowe's store.
Okay, so Mike, this is for not-for-profits?
This is for not-for-profit or governmental entity or any other thing. It's things in the past have been boys and girls clubs.
So having heard the description, I hope those of you that are listening or watching at home or from some other remote location, if you felt like your not-for-profit or your community service organization would meet the qualifications, we would encourage you to apply, and hopefully there would be some positive results achieved from your application.
Yes, sir. Given the truncated timeline, if there's a possibility that the commission could approve administration and legal to work together if anybody wants to partner with Walton County on this submission.
Are we okay to do that?
Yes, we are.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll motion.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Curry, second by Commissioner Gladwell. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show it adopted 5-0.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Kellenberger and Mr. Atkins and I would appreciate it if y'all would work on Darlington especially.
Understood.
I would just like to add that I think Commissioner Gladwell and Chair Drake's area would probably benefit the most, since the rest of us do have a little bit of money to put into our parks and our community centers to where they don't. So I would look, it would be my suggestion or my pointer to help those two districts first.
And one of the things I was thinking about, you might want to consider, the We Care Park needs lighting. They need lighting for that field so the kids can play ball. So if there's anybody that could help with that, that would be great.
Thank you, Commissioner Johns. Well, let me back up. Would that be in regard to the Lowe's grant, or is that something else notwithstanding the Lowe's grant?
Well, if we can get it within the Lowe's grant, that would be fine. If not, we need to consider it in other ways.
Okay. All right, well, we'll bring that up I mean, there's nothing that would prohibit us from bringing that up at another meeting, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you, Commissioner Johns. Tourism.
Need a vote.
On, what was the motion?
Motion was to approve admin and legal to move forward with the grant program.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Show it adopted 5-0. All right, let's go to add 2, Tourism Administration request for direction to cancel, reschedule the March 17, 2026 joint BCC TDC workshop. I think my understanding is that after asking all the council members whether or not they could participate, that maybe 5 expressed, I was not one of the 5, but the 5 expressed that they could not be there on that date. So what would be the wishes of the board?
Motion to cancel the meeting due to the lack of
Okay, and
quorum
reschedule.
on the council.
And reschedule for when?
Well, we have another one.
Right, so Matt Algarin for the record. So I think what we could look at is one of 2 options. Option 1 is to reschedule this meeting for mid-April. The week of April 19th looks like it could be an opportunity, or we can just look to have the discussion we were going to have at this meeting at our regularly scheduled quarterly workshop on May 5. So I think it's really the discretion of the board. We're talking about a difference of a couple weeks at that point.
I think the May 5 meeting would be great.
When?
May
5. I'll make, that's the motion.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Gladwell, second by Commissioner John, to have the meeting rescheduled for May the 5th. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Show adopted 5-0.
Thank you.
Tab 21, Planning and Development. Tab 21 has to do with the update and development order application on Mac Bayou, also known as the Mac Bayou Tower and/or the Muskogee Nation of Florida Tower. Mr. Schoen, you're recognized.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair. Stephen Schoen. For the record, you have in front of you a relatively brief summary of what planning staff has been able to put together for you, a timeline as well as some additional information in there. You all received an email from Matthews and Matthews concerning this particular site. I brought copies to hand out if you'd like to view them currently. If not, then I'll keep them to myself.
Can I have a copy?
Yeah.
My computer's still updating, so I can't get into anything.
While you're doing that, we would appreciate, or I think we need to recognize Mr. Schoen's devotion to duty for being here crippled.
Well, it's my fault. So,
I'm trying to give you kudos here.
well, I do appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
Or draw attention to.
Well,
So, really, I can answer any questions you may have. After looking at the document, I can go through the timeline, whatever is preferred here. I'm doing this at the board's request. There was a few months ago. I know there was some concern here. The project is still waiting for this to be, again, reviewed by you all prior to moving forward at TRC. There are still a couple outstanding concerns at the technical review committee level. So I can't speak on the appropriateness of it passing technical review currently. Just letting you know the status there is still under review.
So there's no action being required from the board since it hasn't been through all these other committees?
This is simply just an update at the board's request.
May I?
You're recognized.
I have an issue with the fact that there's even a tower on this property. This property, from what I have read in the past, is Indian burial ground property. And I also don't understand how it can be used as part of a green space for another entity. That property went from Sandestin to Walton County. It was given to Walton County. Walton County sold it to the tribe for, I believe, $100, $1, something like that, years ago. So I don't understand how that property can remain Sandestin's green space. And I don't understand how it can have a tower on it.
All right, for the purposes of legality, Mr. Atkinson, do you want to address those two items?
I believe Mr. Schoen's report on page 3 of 4 of the staff memorandum addresses the open space issue. It is apparently labeled open space, but at no point in time can our planning staff identify that it has ever actually been deducted from the open space available in the DRI. So regardless of its label, I believe it is staff's position, Mr. Schoen, correct me if I'm wrong, that it does not actually factor into the open space requirements. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. We have not found record that it has been deducted. I think in that email presented to you all, there is some argument being made that seems to suggest that it should not be deducted. At least that was my take from the email. It is approximately 0.11 acres out of the 13.1 acres of the total site. This site appears to have been as a part of the DRI since its infancy. Or at least since the 80s, when I think some of that work to bring the DRI back together occurred. It has been labeled as archaeological and open space since then. The appropriateness of that or how that came to fruition, I cannot speak intelligently about.
Do you know when it was first labeled, Mr. Schoen, as open space, or have we been able to ascertain that?
As far as I can tell, every map that I've seen of the DRI, it's part of the DRI, and it's been labeled as archaeological or open space or both throughout the entirety of the DRI.
And so it was certainly labeled that circa 2000, was it 5 or 7 when the board first, I guess it was 2007 when they first granted the right to put the tower up?
It was 2005 when it was approved by the board. It appears to have been constructed sometime in 2007, between 7 and 9.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so with that being said, the board obviously knew the board had the authority to give the consent under the deed. The board obviously knew what it was labeled as. Staff reviewed it. They presented it as a development order for the board, and the board took action. So at this point in time, I'm not going to weigh in on the comments from Matthews and Matthews of whether it should or should not be deducted from open space. I think that is going to be, I think that's going to be a different question for a different day. But I will say, clearly, a prior version of this board 20-plus years ago determined that it was consistent with the archaeological or open space designation and granted the authority for the tribe to lease for that purpose.
Chair? Are you allowed to build on archaeological or open space? Anything?
I mean, there may be circumstances when that is allowed. It was allowed in this instance. I did see a resolution from I think the Muskogee tribe or the Creek tribe at the time during this time frame that spoke to the nature of this particular portion of the site, the 0.11 acres where the site or where the tower is sited, as being the least impactful to any archaeological remains on the site.
So, I mean, I know we try to fix things after the fact all the time. If we know that there was something wrong, do we have any recourse or anything? Like, you know, all of a sudden the word of 2026 is Scrivener's error. Is there anything that we can, is there anything that we can dive into to fix something that was obviously maybe decided wrong? Or this just, it is what it is?
The question would be, we would have to have somebody tell us definitively that the board lacked the legislative authority to approve, and I guess it was actually a quasi-judicial hearing, wasn't it, Mr. Schoen?
It was.
We would have to actually have somebody show the board lacked the legal authority to take action the way it did. This was not a board choice on the board side. It was a request presented for development order. It was heard as a quasi-judicial proceeding. The ability to appeal and challenge those run 30 days after the issuance of those development orders. At this point in time, I believe if this board unilaterally took action to change the rights allowed on that site after a prior board granted it and you've allowed it to exist there all this time, we would be subjecting ourselves to an inverse condemnation claim, if not a Burt Harris Act claim.
But I thought you've always told us that we can't tie another board's hands, which would also mean another board can't tie our hands. So if that's the case.
No, you cannot bind a future board as to what the boards do, but if we applied that to land development approvals, every new board could just undo what the prior board did, and there's a vested right created by the approval of development order by state statute. So this board can't sit here and enter into a contract in perpetuity that can never be undone by another board, but what this board was doing when it approved a development order was fulfilling its obligations under Florida statute as the local land planning agency. And so when you did that, you did create a vested right of entitlement to the person you granted that development order from.
Did that previous board not have enough information to make a sound decision?
My review of the minutes is they were presented with the discussion. It indicated it was part of the Sandestin DRI. It looked like it had a complete packet that went through planning board. From what I can see, I can't see where there was any deficiency in the process or notice, and those would be the two biggest things I look for. Now, I'll defer to Mr. Schoen if in his review he feels there was some affirmative misrepresentation in the record or some type of fraud perpetrated upon the county in the application. But what I look to is notice and completeness of what's been provided. If that's the case, the board's bound by what it's done in that sense.
Mr. Gladwell.
We can sit here and beat this horse to death again, but the truth of the matter is there's two options. We either let Mr. Schoen and his department proceed with the way it's done, with their process, or we can order them to tear the cell tower down. And if we do that, we're going to get sued, and Sandestin and most of Miramar Beach is not going to have any cell service, including Sacred Heart Hospital. So if y'all want to cut the cell service off from Sacred Heart Hospital and all of Miramar Beach, I'm not voting for it, but that's the only option. This happened 20 years ago. there's nothing we can do about it other than tear the tower down, and if y'all want to do that, more power to you.
Well, I don't think Commissioner Johns said that, or I said that. I mean,
That's the result, though.
Is there an issue with asking questions and trying to fix something that could possibly happen again in the future?
There's no issue, and he didn't suggest otherwise. He was stating his opinion.
And I'm stating mine, and I'm not tearing down anything. I'm not wanting to tear down anything. I want to fix something in case it happens again. You know, unless we're okay with just letting stuff go. It is what it is mentality.
I'd like to clarify something. You said that this is 1.1 acres that this tower is on. That's
This is 0.11.
acres that this, so it's this very small area of the 13.1 acres that this is. And that particular portion of this was deemed not to have archaeological artifacts on it, correct?
That is correct. And I would just point the board's attention to the July 14, 2005 Planning Commission portion of the site where the Planning Commission approved unanimously, recommending approval, subject to the condition that there is an archaeological scientist on site during construction, the resolution of any preservation issue regarding the DRI, and that chain of title is clear. So I just wanted to make sure that y'all saw
I personally agree that I don't think that tower needs to go down. It does affect a lot of people, and it's there, and that particular part of that property has been deemed, as you just said. I guess my issue is a little bit different in that kind of opened up the question as to why is this green space for Sandestin? That's the bigger question, but that's not the issue at hand. So I'll just wait until that issue comes up.
Yes, ma'am, and we do fully expect to get a biannual report from Sandestin later this year. We'll have an opportunity, to look through what they're providing us in terms of green space and make comments on that. So,
thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Shell.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, number 22, request approval to provide road striping assistance under the existing MOU. Is there a motion?
To approve.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gladwell, second by Commissioner Johns. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Show the motion adopted 5-0.
Scott Caraway, you owe me.
He might owe me.
He owes you.
He owes us a piece of candy. All right. Tab 23, Ms. Thomason.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next item is a request for direction or approval of a policy for the use of district-designated general funds. This is the third year of this program where each commissioner has $25,000 budgeted for use in their district. We expend these funds using the same approval procedures that we use for all other budgeted funding. That means that expenditures are only coming back to the board when they are capital in nature or if they involve a formal contract. This is the first year where I've really seen there's not a consensus on how those funds can be spent. So we would just like to make sure that we are following the intent of the board as far as these funds go. I've drafted a policy that is very brief and attached to this agenda item. It could be used as a template. We can change it however you'd like, or if you would like to not have a policy, that's fine. This is a program of the board, and we're just requesting direction.
Do we have a paper copy of that by chance?
Because I still can't get nothing up on my computer either.
Kim, we may temporarily pass this. Can we get paper copies of this furnished to us so we can take a look at it? We're going to temporarily pass this, and then we'll come back to it. Show that done without objection. Mr. Atkinson, anything?
No, sir, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Curry, item 24.
I can wait until you want to get that unless you just want to carry on.
You want to go back to the city request?
That one may be timely, so I was just trying to preserve that.
Fine.
where we can
However you want, sir.
focus on that. If you're ready, let's
I'm ready.
proceed with 24.
24, agenda matrix. I think I brought this up before, and I believe I've gotten with Brian, and he is working on that. I just want to make sure we're on the same page, because I was going to create my own. If Brian was a little bit busy to do it, but he did tell me that they're in the middle of doing it. This is where direction agenda items that were approved are on a type of matrix, so we can keep track. So, say we approved something 6 months ago, and we're like, where are we at with that? You know, and then we ended up having to bring it back. Thank you. We have to end up bringing it back to the board again and ask where we at with it. So, thank you, Commissioner Johns. She just gave me the sheet. So, I guess my purpose in this was to see if we could add direction to it if it's not on here, Brian. If not, I can add direction to my own. If there's some direction up here.
We'll include items that just received direction.
Okay.
And then you should have all received a copy with your copy of the agenda on Thursday. If you'll take a look at it, and if you see any other things you'd like to change, columns you'd like to add, let me know.
And how far back has this gone? The previous year, or?
So I asked them to go back for the previous year, but we can go back further if we'd like. The basic rule is when it's a agenda item, we add it on, and then as it gets completed, we pull it off. And so moving forward, everything will be captured, and everything back through the last year.
Would this be available for the folks to see if they get on our website anywhere?
Yeah, we can do that. We can make it available.
Perfect.
I'll get Ron and Meredith to add that in as a PDF on a
tab or something, yeah, that they can look up and see where it's at.
A link.
It may save some of us some phone calls.
Yeah.
So, that's all I have on that, Chair.
Okay, next.
We already did 25, so 26. We'll go into planning.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Commissioner Gladwell, state your point of order.
Part of this motion at the end, it says anything else the conversations may lead into is an improper agenda item. There's no way, there's no way that we can transparently tell the public what we're talking about based on that line. So I believe the chair should instruct that line fees, or that line that starts as well as anything else the conversations may lead into should be removed.
Can I point of order on top of his point of order?
Do we need to dispose, well, does he rebut the point of order, Claire? Do we have to dispose of the motion, or dispose of the point?
We can address either way. At this point in time, he's raised a point of order. He can respond to it, certainly. He doesn't need to raise a new point of order until the first one's dealt with.
Then I'll take the response, if I may.
You're recognized.
So I don't see any problem with this, other than I think a couple meetings back, you just put infrastructure for Eagle Springs, and it turned out to be an Olympic-sized pool. So what's the difference in this when we're talking about the land development code and we're talking about planning? I don't know what's going to come up, so I don't want to stop somebody from talking. Hey, wait a minute, I didn't put that on there. Oh, is this another hypocritical type procedure that we got going on up here?
No, that's not what you are saying. You're saying anything else I could make a motion to sell the courthouse.
It has to deal with planning. Come on, Danny.
That is not what you're saying.
Come on.
And we owe the people the people have a right to deserve transparency, that we tell them what we're going to talk about.
I get it, like the Olympic-sized swimming pool, that's infrastructure.
That was infrastructure on Eagle Springs.
I get it.
And I'm not talking about the rest of the motion, the rest of the agenda item, you do whatever you want to, but that part is improper. You can't have an open-ended thing that says anything.
So I'm going to go through all the agendas for the last year and a half, and you will never have an open agenda item on a BCC meeting. Are you sure? I want that for the record.
Okay, let's stay in selective order.
Mr. Chair, as to the point of order,
all right,
you can address that one of two ways. One is you can address and rule that at this point in time, there's not been a motion made that's outside the agenda item, but that if one is made, you would deem it out of order, consistent with the point of order raised by Commissioner Glidewell, but allow the agenda item to proceed, or you can attempt to place guidelines on what the agenda item could entail. That is within the chair.
You know what, I'm going to do one better than that, Mr. Attorney. I'll go ahead and postpone this, and I'll put every email and every correspondence that I have had with the planning department to confuse and show the folks that they can look these up. I was trying to be the nice way about this and just talk in generalities, but I have no problem with putting every piece of documentation that I have for everybody to see, because I don't want another point of order from you. So I'll make it as transparent as possible. I'll put every email I've received from planning and the county administrator and anybody else that has to do with land development.
That would be better than, that would be
All
better
right,
And I'm
let's,
fine with that.
let's
I'll
stay, let's,
postpone it.
Mr. Curry,
I'll postpone it.
let's stay in fashion. We're, at the request of the sponsor, show tab 26 temporarily postponed. All right, 27.
27, I just have a statement, if you'd let me finish, Mr. Gladwell. I'm not going to go into any of it.
Mr. Curry, let's please be respectful to our colleagues, and I will make sure that your colleagues are respectful to you. If you want to offer tab 27, now is the time. You're recognized.
Thank you. I'm just going to do a statement. I want to delete item 27 under my name. I have many concerns about our policies and procedures in the Codes Department and others. But because of the ethics complaints filed against me by at least one person in that department, I have been advised it is not in my interest or the county's interest to discuss these concerns at this time. I will be emailing the county administrator what I plan to discuss today so he can look into these issues and advise the board on this and in the future. It's a sad day when oversight is in question and when the commissioners try to ask questions about some concerns and issues they have, and the retaliation of an ethics complaint is brought on by oversight. So are we just supposed to just sit up here and rubber stamp everything and not ask any questions? That is not me, and this ethics complaint will not put any kind of duct tape or muzzle on my mouth. I just want that to be clear for everybody in the public and in this audience. I was elected to help straighten the county out, and that is what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do. Now, if you want to do a point of order, Commissioner Gladwell, have at it.
Nah, I don't have a point of order.
Okay. Show the item deleted. Tab 28.
Let's just keep with the fire. EDA. Since I cannot, before I get a point of order, since I cannot bring up defunding the EDA, I would like to offer this motion. I have still yet to receive the actual amount that is in the bank account, but when I was off the board recently, they had, I think, about $800,000 in the bank account. And they continue to get money from us along with other municipalities. I would like to suggest that this money be dispersed to the EDA project-specific. That means come before the board with a project. You still have your allotted $450,000 or whatever it is, coffered away, but they would come to the board when they need it, and they would be required to ask why they need it. We do that with every department when it's budget time, so why can't we do that with the EDA? So that is my motion right now, to make it project-specific when we give them money.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Show that fails for a lack of second. Anything else, Commissioner Curry?
That's it.
All right, tab 29, Commissioner Gladwell, you're recognized.
We've
We've already disposed of 29. Let's proceed to 30.
We have representatives from the city of Paxton here today that there is a water line on County 147 that was put, as best we can tell, in the 80s. It was put down. And for some reason, no one knows, it was put down as a 2-inch water line. The sheriff's office, in an effort to maintain public safety, would like to put fire hydrants in, but you cannot put a fire hydrant on a 2-inch water line. It has to be 6. So Mayor Smith is here to present, but I believe your engineer did a work statement of probable costs. It was about $2.2 million. Your contracted water people have done one that's 989, but if our Public Works helps them and cut about 200 or so off of that, is that, do you want to fill in the rest of it?
Okay, before we go recognize Ms. Smith, are there any questions for Commissioner Gladwell? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Donna Smith. I'm the mayor of Paxton, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today about an important water infrastructure improvement that will directly impact the public safety in our community. And as Commissioner Gladwell already stated, I did reach out to my agency that I still work for and spoke with them, and they did give us a letter of support. It's going to help tremendously with the Walton County Fire Rescue, and I did provide, I think a letter was provided to Mr. Kellenberg and to Commissioner Gladwell. Currently, the area we're discussing is served by approximately 3 miles of 2-inch water line. While this line provides basic domestic water services from the City of Paxton Utilities, it's just basic. It does not provide the capacity necessary for fire protection. In the event of a structure fire, the water flow availability from the 2-inch line supply is not sufficient for supporting firefighting operations. Our proposed project would upgrade that existing 2-inch line to a 6-inch line in approximately 3 miles. This upgrade would significantly improve the water capacity, system reliability, and mostly important, provide the fire flow needed to help protect the homes and the property for the residents in that area. The estimate costs, and as Commissioner Gladwell already stated, we did reach out to Mr. Dale Long. He normally is our senior engineer with municipal engineering, and he quoted us like $2 million and something dollars. I got with Mr. Yates, which is currently our contractor for our utilities within the City of Paxton. We sat down, went over every line item. I would be happy to provide all of you with a copy of this. And he says, my company, because we already are contracted by you guys, we can knock a lot of that off. He went line item by line item.
Commissioner Gladwell, what is the nature of the request?
Today, we would like to instruct Public Works to get with Mr. Yates and for them to bring back a statement of work and a cost estimate for the entire project, and Ms. Smith would bring that back to us.
Okay, do we have an estimate of what that would be?
Mr. Yates came up with like $900,000, and he talked to Commissioner Gladwell earlier, and Mr. Gladwell said if the county could help dig the trenches, he said that would knock off about $200,000 off of that. And Mr. Yates also was gonna, some of the items on the line items, he said he could cut even more, and we may not have anything, maybe a zero balance on that line item. We also have another project that we was awarded a Florida Department of Environmental 100% grant, pilot grant, that will upgrade everything from North Settles Road on 331 to the Alabama line from 2-inch to 6-inch to provide better fire protection in that area as well.
Okay, am I correct in the city's charter that it does not provide for ad valorem assessments in the city of Paxton?
No,
That is correct.
Okay, are there any tangibles or intangibles that the city of Paxton would be willing to offer that would coincide with the request that could be made available?
I would have to get with our finance and ask them.
That would be the motion for them to bring us back.
Okay, so having stated the motion, Loretta, are you comfortable with the motion as stated? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show that pass 5-0.
Was there a second? She said there was no second.
Okay, so there was a motion by Commissioner Gladwell, seconded by Commissioner Anderson. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, nay. Show the motion adopted 5-0.
Thank you for your time.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that there's grant money that's funding to the state Alabama line.
Yes,
Is there any chance that there's grant money for this that you're looking at as well?
No, ma'am, not at this time. From the engineer, I believe that grant money just comes out like maybe once a year, and you're awarded along with a whole lot more entities. So we were just lucky, blessed to get that grant to do the upgrade on 331, and we chose that one first because of Walton County Fire Rescue being right there on the corner.
And
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gladwell?
this stretch of road that the grant is covering is in the city limits of Paxton. The grant, or the stretch of road that we're talking about here is in the county. It's not in the city. It's in the city's franchise area. And so it's a county
And
project. And
some of it from North Suttles up to, in the area of Wayne Huckabee Road is in the county as well, but they covered that entirety of that stretch because we go out to that point.
So that, all of this will be included in this, what'd you call it, the statement of work?
Statement of probable cost.
Statement of
And
probable
if,
cost?
and if you would get with Mr. Caraway, or get at Mr. Yates to get with Mr. Caraway.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, let's move to tab 31.
As most of y'all, or as the board knows, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Red Bay Community Center for the use of that building. Part of that is that we maintain the building and various parts of the infrastructure, including the ice machine, and the ice machine has went down, and the cost of replacement is $3,500. So I will make a motion that we authorize Mr. Alford to spend $3,500 to up to $3,500 to get a new ice machine for that community center.
So there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Gladwell.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Curry. Any debate on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show that adopted 5-0.
And my final item, we're approaching the 250th birthday of the country, and a move to honor that birthday. We have negotiated with Mr. John Grice, who is a fairly renowned local artist.
Self-proclaimed.
I wasn't gonna say
No, he's my uncle, I can say that.
But he drew the John Wayne picture that's in the Tasty Freeze, if you want to know what some of his work. But anyways, we'd like to allocate $600 of my designated money to commission Mr. Grice to draw a formal portrait of George Walton, who the county is named after, to hang in the courthouse in a prominent spot, and I'd make that a motion.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Gladwell, second by Commissioner Johns. Is there any discussion or debate?
I have a question.
Question?
If you're spending discretionary funds that you have, we each have 25,000 of, does that really need to come to the board?
I'm not spending any money without coming to the board.
It's already your money.
No, it ain't my money, it's taxpayers' money. It ain't my money.
There are limits on it, but
For general purposes, do you want to offer an opinion on that?
If a commissioner feels more comfortable getting those approved in public, I'm not going to tell them they shouldn't. That's their choice.
but is it required?
Right now, we don't have a policy one way or the other is the challenge. That's what Melissa presented earlier. So until that issue, and I know we're waiting on, until that issue gets adopted, we don't really have guidance. So that's why I'll let you make it. You're not going to do it wrong by not bringing it, but you're not doing it wrong by bringing it.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Reese, you in favor of this? Okay, so all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show that adopted 5-0.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioner Johns, tab 33. We've already resolved 33. Tab 34, discussion regarding coalition against bigger trucks. You're recognized.
So we have reviewed that, Commissioners. We've gone over the resolutions adopted by other counties. We have mirrored a resolution off of what was done by Alachua County. After review of this matter, this is not seeking any change to existing rules or regulations applied by the federal government. What this is addressing is there's a pilot program that has been rolled out by the Federal Department of Transportation that has allowed trucks that are greater than the current regulated standard to operate on certain roadways. The opposition to this is it's been formed through NACO, the Florida Association of Counties, the National League of Cities. I believe the Florida League of Cities is working on an adoption of a similar resolution at this point, as well as numerous other local governments, is a situation where they are opposing it as it would create an unfunded mandate due to the length over 93 feet, the additional weight loads that would now exceed 91,000 pounds beyond what is already authorized, except for limited heavyweight long-haul truck drivers. So outside of those, this is merely opposing expanding the pilot program without providing adequate infrastructure defrayment cost from the federal government to roads that fall within our jurisdiction. So that's what this would be. We've gone back and looked at it. We believe this resolution is consistent with what other local governments in our area and within the state of Florida have adopted. And so if the board is willing, that's what you asked us to look into last time. We'd just be looking for direction or an authorization through motion for the board to adopt that resolution consistent with what the Florida Association of Counties and NACO's adopted, conform to a local county in the form of what Alachua did, along with, and y'all know, Gators up here know I don't like using Alachua County, but that is the best one. We can thank Matt for that. He is a Gator after all. But with that being said, and authorizing the chairman to send a letter addressing our opposition to the expansion of the pilot program only.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Johns.
I have a question.
And seconded by Commissioner Anderson to adopt. Any discussion or debate? Commissioner Curry, you're recognized for a question.
So what you were saying, Clay, does that, I'm on perma hold still with my computers, and I did not copy, I'm sorry. But does this deal with specialized and heavy haul? Because a normal truck is 80,000 pounds. You're not messing with the steers, drives, length, all of that. So normal trucking, 80,000 pounds with the standard length, it's not affecting them whatsoever. Now, the last time we were up here, we're talking about doubles and triples. Are we not in favor of doubles and triples?
If it is authorized under the general rules rather than the pilot program right now, this resolution does not speak to it. We're not getting into that one way or the other. This is a resolution dealing with the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, where they are in the process of reauthorizing the National Infrastructure and Highway Bill. They're asking that if they are going to expand the existing pilot program, which is none of the things you're talking about,
Okay.
It goes beyond that. If they expand it to allow it, we're asking that that infrastructure bill include ability to allow federal roads to be funded out of federal dollars rather than local dollars. That is the primary address from that. This does not take a position on any existing scenario. So specifically what it is, the pilot program would allow weights up to 91,000 pounds or more in certain circumstances.
Without permits?
Correct. This would be just become standard fare. And it would also increase the length. It would also provide, under the pilot program, those trucks no longer have to abide by local regulations. And I think, because you're probably well aware, and I think many people up here, before everybody up here's time, but you used to see insufficient road, no trucks over a certain size. Well, now if you take federal infrastructure money, you have to comply with, if they have a federal permit, you have to let them on your roads and can't do that. So a lot of counties got squeezed out of that game because they chose to take federal dollars for their roads. And since federal dollars flow through the state, if we get state DOT money, we're getting federal money eventually. So this now goes to address the ability that we cannot do that. It specifically talks about I-10, 98, 331, US 90, and then roads that are also co-opted for federal purposes, state roads 20, 79, 285. And we have included in the letter County Road 38 and connecting coastal connectors, because those are roads that we would have otherwise had weight limits on, but for those requirements.
I just don't want to add to the already burdensome, we like to use that word when it comes to development, the burdensome on owner-operators that are already getting handcuffed to death with fees and fines and fuel surcharges and all that stuff. I just don't want this to affect their bottom line in any shape or form. And you're telling me that this does not?
It does not at all, because all that you do, let's say the House Transportation Infrastructure Committee takes this up and agrees with us and the other local governments around the state that have brought this forward. All they're going to do is not expand the pilot program. Everybody that's already in the pilot program is going to keep working, or they're going to expand it and hopefully provide some money downstream to help us offset the cost.
All right, thank you for the explanation.
And I would say, by the way, in terms of permitting, I did look at this. The pilot program, one of the defenses that's been raised by the groups in support of this is that the pilot program requires almost 3 times as much regulatory permitting to get one of those pilot program permits. As of right now, if it's expanded, these would require the same level of permitting. So frankly, if it goes into effect, it's going to cause more red tape and cost anybody who wants to get one of those permits anyway, and we're opposing the whole lot of it. So if anything, we're going the opposite direction.
These guys already got to pay for each state. It's called a cab card on the top of the side of their truck. They got, I mean, there's scales everywhere. So they're already being marked, for a better term. So, I mean, I just don't want to add any more onto them. I mean, it's bad enough to try and earn a buck out there, and then, you know, we have bureaucrats making more decisions on their behalf. It's never been in a truck before in their life.
Well, it's a safe.
This doesn't change anything about what's already on the books. It's asking them not to expand it to more.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any additional questions? Any additional debate on the board? Anyone from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Show that the motion adopted 5-0.
Thank you. I'd like to just say one quick thing, if I may.
Sure.
A different topic. I don't have it on the agenda, but I just found out yesterday. Just want to remind people, and I know we're up here on the north end and the beach is down on the south end, but I understand that there's still a lot of bonfire debris that's being buried in the sand on the beach. So if you know anybody that's doing that, would you please ask them to stop? Because it's going to cause a problem, and, you know, hate for us to have to come back one day and say no bonfires. But we've got to stop leaving the debris on the beach. So thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jones. So noted. Vice Chair Anderson, you're recognized.
I have just one quick thing. Ms. Reese, would you come up here, please? You. Come up here. Yeah, call. I met with her late last week, and I'm going to tell you, if you want a history lesson in Walden County, call her. She's got everything you need. And we talked about quickly, and I just want to tell you, I've met with Brian. He will be getting up with you about having a history of Walden County place where we can put all these artifacts that we have. I have quite a few things that I've showed her, and she's got things that are just priceless that she showed me. But Brian will be getting up with you, and let's.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. There's a lot to be done.
A lot to be done.
Thank you for all your knowledge. You are the history buff of the county. So thank you, Brenda.
Commissioner Johns, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Vice Chair Anderson, anything else?
Nope, that's got it.
Okay. Tab 35. In a prior meeting, we agreed to offer some renovations to the Mossy Head Community Center. I believe, Melissa, was it 33,000 or up to 35,000?
It was 33,000.
Okay, so up to $33,000. I believe our team had agreed to do some of the work. It was determined that by our staff that a structural agreement may be necessary to find out if we put monies into this improvement, you know, whether or not there may be structural issues. So here's what I would like to offer is to allow for the use of that money to be spent on a structural assessment to determine what the condition of the building is, and then we would continue with upgrades to the facility with up to $33,000 with a memorandum of understanding in place with the community center for county purposes.
Mr. Chairman, you like for me to make that motion for you?
Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion for you.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Glidewell, seconded by Commissioner Anderson.
I do have an ad, if you wouldn't mind. If we come up to where we're short, I wouldn't mind, if it's legal, to have some of my office discretionary fund to help out the Mossy Head, because I did talk to those folks up there, and
I don't see an issue with it, Melissa.
just, I don't know how much I can obligate, but I'd be willing to help, so.
Why don't we get that number and why don't we let staff figure out where the funding sources come from, and we'll get with you and pull it back.
Okay, anyone from the audience? Seeing none. So most importantly, we need to have a memorandum of understanding in place that articulates the purpose. And this, by doing it this way, it would allow the community center, if they had someone, if they had a contractor that was willing to donate services, that they might be able to, one, accomplish this quicker, and then two, they may be able to get more work done if some of the work was donated, but they would have up to $33,000 that they could spend on renovations based on the memorandum of understanding with the county. So with that expressed in a motion by Commissioner Gladwell and seconded by Vice Chair Anderson, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Show that a pass, 5-0. Okay, tab 36, quite simply, this just addresses the point of order that was raised by Commissioner Gladwell in item number 26. It would prohibit agenda items from being editorialized, politicized, propagandized, or used for an unfair advantage in a public document, and only reflects a professional representation of the description. That's the idea. The chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Gladwell, seconded by Commissioner Johns. Are there any questions or discussion?
Absolutely.
Okay, Commissioner Curry, recognized.
So are we going to have something in writing stating what, so if we have something on the agenda item, we need to, everything about it, if we're changing a color, we're changing whatever, it has to be on there. We can't just put planning. We just can't put, because in the past, we could just put a one-liner up there, and everybody was okay. There was no point of orders, or there were no swinging chairs, or nothing of that. But now, all of a sudden, we need to be specific and documented items in there, correct?
No, the nature of the request would be explained by the commissioner, and legal staff would put it in an appropriate and professional fashion.
So you need to explain from A to Z what you're going to have on the agenda.
Well, we do that anyways.
Well, apparently not. I mean, there was a big hoodoo just a minute ago.
No, to the professional staff, you would explain the nature of your item, and they would put it on the agenda.
Oh, so you're talking about the aides in the pre-BCC? Is that what the staff you're talking about when they come and present what you have on the agenda items?
No, legal staff and whoever authors the document.
So is there anything that I've been doing wrong on my agenda items that is currently in objection to the...
That question's out of order.
You want to do an ethics complaint on me next? Because I don't have any oversight? Is that what you're trying to say? I can't ask a question?
Commissioner Curry, you're being unruly today.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm very unprofessional.
Yes, I know. It's never happened up here, sir.
Well, we are changing things and have. Anyone else? Any questions, comments? Anyone from the audience?
I would like to say something.
You're recognized.
I would like to say that we have 2 new employees in code. We have Lisa Jeffries in the street code, and
Wait, is this on the agenda item?
No, I'm just saying it. You said, do you have anything else to say?
We've got a motion. and a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm jumping the gun.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Show the motion adopted 4-1 with Commissioner Curry in the dissent. Okay, Commissioner Johns?
Okay, Lisa Jeffries is new to our Walton County family, and she is on the street code side. And she's been in my office recently, and I'm extremely impressed with how she's handling things and getting things done. She really is a great addition to our code office and to Walton County. And also Frank Larkins, he is the beach code manager, and he's pretty awesome too. And if I'm not mistaken, Frank, aren't you retired military?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your service. And thank you both for being here, and thank you for being part of our Walton County family and enhancing our code department. I really appreciate you. I've met with both of you and super impressed. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, sir, for your service. Okay, so we temporarily passed one Was there one item?
Two items.
We had two items. Which were the two?
The citizen's request from the city of Definiak Springs, and then the item from Ms. Thomason. You want to go to Ms. Thomason? I don't know, that was as lengthy of a discussion. You now have the written document in front of you.
Okay. Let's stand in informal recess for 5 minutes. Give me an opportunity to reread Okay, let's proceed back to tab 23. Ms. Thomason, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Going to a discretionary spending policy, I've put an item on the agenda that's just a very brief policy just to use for a guideline to go through what regular office expenses are and what we're looking at as not being applicable to the discretionary office budget. Then I've got a second item, it's items requiring individual commissioner approval. And then the third item is going to be items requiring BCC approval. BCC approval would always be required for capital improvements. And when I've said office furniture and remodeling costs, that's still a capital improvement, and items requiring approval of a contract. The question I've really got is the items requiring individual commissioner approval. If you would like to determine a list of those items, if you would like to strike any of those items or do something different altogether.
All right, let's start. So let's take Ms. Thomason's work product as a breathable document. So if any commissioner would like to make some additions, deletions, recommendations, now's the time. Commissioner Gladwell, you're recognized.
This discretionary fund line item was my motion, and I envision this as a way to provide financing for smaller projects in a district. I did not envision food and beverages for meetings. That's ridiculous. I did not envision mailing cards. If every bit of food and beverage that is bought and served in my office, I pay for, or my aide pays for it. We have never charged anything that to the taxpayers. Any card I've sent, be it thank you, sympathy, or Christmas, I've paid for out of my pocket. I would never think that that would be an appropriate expenditure for taxpayers to pay for my sympathy cards. Expenses incurred at a town hall meeting, I paid for every bit of that out of my pocket. I have never charged any of that to the county, and I don't think any of that is appropriate. And employment of additional staff, that is an FTE. The board should approve every FTE in this county. We should not be, an individual commissioner without the approval of this board should not be able to hire anybody. And so I think those last four items, every one of them should be struck. And if you want to do that, you bring it back to the board and let the board vote on it. And that's my first glance.
I would say this, Commissioner Gladwell, I think Ms. Thomason's draft mirrored some of the state statutes that govern office accounts. So that was included to mirror what's existing under Florida statute. It goes back to the very title of the fund and being discretionary. So if it were if it became your discretion to choose to not choose or choose to choose those, that's simply discretionary on your part.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think those four items should be discretionary for anybody. I think if we're going to do that, any of those things, that the board needs to approve it. And I just don't think that we should be charging to the taxpayers these kind of things. If you want this kind of stuff, pay for it.
Any additional input from other commissioners, additions, deletions? Mike, your mic, please.
I just believe that discretionary spending is discretionary spending, and it's up to the individual commissioner to determine what is appropriate and what is not. To your point, if it's following Florida statute, why would we deviate from that?
Chair.
Mr. Curry?
I agree with the chair and Commissioner Johns. I mean, if you want to change the the definition of a discretionary, I guess we need to have a meeting on what that definition is. To me, discretionary doesn't mean some of these items that Commissioner Glidewell stated. I'm
That's what
guilty.
we're doing.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty right now. I buy water and I buy snacks for folks when they come in to meet with me. One of the first things I say is, if you want a water, go grab a water. You want a soda, go grab a soda. They're taxpayers too. So I do that for them. If that's going to put handcuffs on me, then I'll stop buying water. So whenever you guys come and see me, please bring your own water.
Well, I think I haven't opined. I was just reflecting that I think Ms. Thomason used the professional guidance or used the guidance of Florida statutes not to its entirety, but to create a framework for us to choose. And Commissioner Curry, that's what we're doing today, is we wouldn't have to have a separate meeting, is that we are choosing what is defined as discretionary.
Right, and I think we're kind of being selective a little bit, because I think we all just sat in there and ate food and water and everything else that was paid for by taxpayer money. So what's the difference of eating here in this back room over here, paid by taxpayer money, than one of us going and buying some sodas and drinks for our refrigerator when they come see us?
The difference is,
it's selective, right?
No, it is not selective. You got selective on the brain, but the problem is that back there, we don't have anywhere to go. This is it. But I think most of the people that are sitting in the back of this room who have been to my office over the last 8 years will tell you, we give them water, we give them drinks, we give them coffee, we give them cookies, anything else they want. The difference is I pay for that, or my aide pays for that. The taxpayers don't pay for stuff in my office. I pay for it.
Well, they're taxpayers too.
And so if you want the taxpayers to pay for stuff in your office, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't agree with that. I'm not ever going to.
Well, we can agree to disagree and still sit down and break bread.
But no,
we can't sit
All
down
right,
and break bread.
let's Commissioner Glidewell, let's stay within the procedures of decorum. Vice Chair Anderson, you're recognized.
Yeah. I wasn't crazy about this discretionary fund, but I went along with it because I understand that the districts up here don't have the rec plat fees money that Commissioner Johns and I have, and Mr. Curry's starting to build quite a bit of money up. I've never charged the county for anything in my office that I use. I buy all the water, I buy all the drinks, I buy all the snacks, and whatever y'all decide we can spend this on, I'm going to continue to do that. I think it's my obligation to the constituents to furnish water and drinks and coffee and snacks in my office is on me. I agree with Commissioner Glidewell on it's an honor to serve in this office, and it's an honor for me to buy that. But this is a board decision, and what the board decides, that'll be fine. But I'm still going to buy my own water and all my own drinks and my own coffee. And I bought a coffee machine. I bought several things in our office. I bought the coffee machine over in the engineer's office, and I just think it's my obligation as a commissioner to buy that for my own constituents. But that's up to y'all. Y'all, 3-2 vote rules everything.
I do think we shouldn't. You're right. Serving is an honor and a privilege, and as far as I'm concerned, Walton County, we are extremely blessed by most counties don't have offices and aides and a lot of the stuff that we sort of take for granted, and they don't even have a place to put a coffee pot, much less have a coffee pot. And as Commissioner I bought my coffee pot. It's a $10 Dollar General model, and I like the way the coffee tastes just fine. I don't think the taxpayers should be paying for my coffee. I don't think the taxpayers should be paying for cookies and water and cards and all this other. This is just, I think this is just taking advantage of what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm not Commissioner Anderson. I'm not doing it. I don't care what y'all say. I'm not gonna buy water for my office with a county account. I'm going to buy it out of my pocket. And I don't think any of that's appropriate.
I got one more thing. You know, we're up here talking about water, and snacks. I would like to bring back to the meeting, the next come around, that the educational funding only be meant for the employees and not the commissioners. There you go. If we're going to talk about, we're not taking taxpayer money to improve individual.
Commissioner Curry, that's a separate item.
Well, that's what I'm going to bring back the next meeting. I just wanted to forewarn and the spirit of.
Hold on just a second. Let's stay on this item, and then before we adjourn the meeting, Commissioner Gladwell, I'll give you an opportunity to offer comments. And Commissioner Curry, if that's something that you want to offer as comments, we'll do that at the end of the meeting. Is there anything else on this particular subject?
Yes. I would
Mr.
just
Johns.
like to say, in my office, I have a lot of people that come in for meetings on a daily basis, and I do offer them water. I brought my own coffee pot. I don't drink coffee in the office. I pay for the food myself. But as far as water, if somebody comes in, I want to be able to offer them water. I don't have a problem with that. I think we're getting a little ridiculous about this stuff. I think we're limited to a certain amount of money, and I think we're all adults, and I don't think I should tell you how you spend your $25,000. If you want to spend $18,000 to fix a pipe in a cemetery, that's your business. And I don't think that it's up to me to tell you you can or can't. And I don't think you should tell me how I can spend mine. I think we're all adults, we're all elected officials, and we're given a certain amount of money, and as long as we know in our hearts and our minds that we're not doing anything illegal, we're doing something proper for the community, then that's what we should be able to do.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, all I'll say to that is that $18,000 was to benefit the taxpayers of the county, and that was what I thought we were doing with that money, was to do smaller projects to help the folks, not to buy stuff. And if that's what y'all want to do, you vote for it, but I'm not voting for it.
Okay, so what I would say here is that it's been my experience in any government office that I went in, that I walked into, there are things that maybe you take for granted, but maybe if services were provided or offerings were provided that augmented the constituents' experience in interaction with their commissioner. I don't think it's unreasonable to offer some of the things that were mentioned. What I want to hone in on is that a lot of these discussions have already been contemplated and memorialized in state statute as what is the limitation, what is the acceptable limitations, and that we would accept that and operate under the confines of what the legislature envisioned when they established office accounts. I think the exercise that we're having to go through, and while it seems like it's a grueling task, I think this exercise is an opportunity to define what professional staff, Ms. Thomason and her team, can identify as acceptable or unacceptable. So right now, she's working off from more of a subjective fashion on what she may deem reasonably responsible as what would be acceptable by the clerk's office. So all those checks and balances are in place by the clerk of courts. They sign off on every expenditure that we incur, whether it's through business travel or whether it's through office expenses. So the document that we have is an effort to give her some comfort in checking off what's an allowable expense and what's an unallowable expense. And I think we have to define that for her, or at least, am I close to
You're absolutely
getting to what we're trying to attempt? So this is a draft of a proposed guideline. If there's a motion to accept the draft or to modify the draft, the chair would entertain that motion at this time.
I make a motion that we accept the draft with the exception of Part 2, Item 2, 3, 4, and 5, and those items be deleted.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Anderson. Is there a discussion?
I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Chairs, Commissioner Johns, you're recognized for a substitute motion.
I'd like to make a substitute motion that we accept it as presented.
Second.
Okay, so there's a substitute motion on the floor to accept the document as presented. Is there any discussion or questions on the substitute motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Substitute motion is now substituted as the primary motion. You need to vote on the now primary motion that Commissioner Johns made.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Show, Commissioner Anderson,
Nay.
show the motion passes, show the substitute motion passes 3-2 with Commissioners Anderson and Gladwell in the dissent on both motions. Okay. Does that help, Melissa?
It helps greatly. Thank you very much.
All right, so we have one more that we temporarily passed.
Yes, sir. That is item add 1 under citizen request.
Okay, Mr. Townsend? Yes.
Chairman, while he's coming up, I have a conflict of interest, so I won't be voting, but I will be.
Pull your mic in.
I said I have a conflict of interest, and I will not be voting on this because of that, but I will be speaking on it.
Okay, Mr. Townsend, City of Definiak, Kobe Townsend, City of Definiak Springs. Mr. Townsend, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and Board. Commissioners, we all came before you the first meeting in February with the same request. Since then, I've spoke to all of you as discussed at that meeting to go over the project and what the city's asking. So again, we're asking for the approval for the chairman to authorize and sign the easement to the City of Phoenix Springs on the east side of the airport.
Okay, Mr. Townsend, having presented his request, is there discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner Johns, you're recognized.
Thank you. I think there's some confusion with the homeowners that live down the road that would be affected. I think there's confusion as to actually where that road will lead to, how far into the neighborhood it will go, and there are questions about whether or not the entryway could be moved a little further. And those, I don't think, even though all of them, I think, that homeowners sent a petition that they did not want this, I think that there's still some confusion about a lot of issues about where that road's going to, what it's going to affect, what it's going to be used for, and that sort of thing. So rather than, I would say that rather than voting on this today, if you could schedule a meeting, maybe give them a couple weeks' notice and schedule a meeting with the homeowners again and see if you can give them some definitive information on, and possibly options if there are any. Because right now, I just think that I'd hate to say no, but I hate to say yes, because I just don't think that it's clear to them what you want to do.
I agree with that.
Okay. I can.
Mr. Townsend, have you had a meeting? Have you had meetings?
Yes, sir. We did held one on March 3rd. The road itself, the location there, we talked about that. We talked about the potential issues that could come up. Again, that'll all occur during design, right, of understanding how the road will be built, how it'll affect the current road, the railroad crossing, right. A traffic analysis is going to have to be conducted during the design process, as any other project would. So I would say that ultimately, I don't know what I would be able to bring back to you in a month from now that's any different than today, because the work to be done is paid for by the grant, which can't be commenced until we issue a contract with the engineer to do design. And I won't take it to the council for a contract to be approved until we've got an answer on the easement. I felt it would be very much inappropriate for me to have them approve a $1.3 million contract to design a road on a property we don't have access to. So it's not that we probably couldn't during design if we've seen that. We've looked at the road, we've asked engineers, could it be moved north? And the answer to that is no, because of the layout of the 270 end of the runway and the object-free zone of the runway. So there's no room in that cleared area to put the road because of those restrictions.
I understand that you did have a meeting with the citizens, but I also understand that they had very short notice. They weren't really given much notice.
Yeah, so I would say, yes, ma'am. So, I reached out the Thursday before, spoke with some members of the community. They helped bring that together. Again, and we had it on March 3rd, a few days later. So like I said at the meeting to them, I said to the council, could staff have done a better job over the last 5 years of, doing that? 100%, we always could, right? But like I said there, and I said to them, this project's been on the city's ALP since 2021, which was adopted by the city, approved by the FAA and the FDOT. The city received a grant specifically for this road in 2022 from the state legislature. And then I can personally attest to numerous workshops and public meetings that this project has been on since January 25th of 2024 because I personally presented it. So I think there's both sides, right? Could we have done a better job? 100%. But in terms of its vision or the ability to see it in a public meeting and public notices, it's been there numerous times.
Do you have a timeline on this grant or anything like that?
So we have 4 different grants, essentially. You've got Triumph Gulf Coast, Florida Job Growth Grant Fund to the Department of Commerce, FDOT work plan dollars, and then we have the state appropriation that funnels through DOT. The DOT money has a much longer time horizon, I believe 28. Triumph, the construction, right now, the construction timeline and the grant is fall of 2027 with a ramp-up period for the job creation requirement. And then Job Growth Grant Fund had a design completion timeline of December of 2025. So we've been after this for a while to be in compliance with those grant agreements. Those are the timelines we're dealing with on them.
Would it hurt if I asked, because I've had a few people email me and call me as well, if I could ask that maybe you join me in some type of community meeting so I could hear them and their concerns with you answering their concerns? Would that be a possibility, or is that out of my purview? I'm just spitballing ideas out there because there's a few in the audience right now that probably want to speak to this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If we get a motion in a second, you're probably going to hear from them. I would hope they would agree with me that I've relayed the same information 3 times now, been consistent in our messaging and what is actually occurring. So if that's the direction of the board, we work through that. We hope we don't have to go through that from a time perspective and what we feel is important to this project. But again, I'll leave that up to you.
I just like to do my due diligence with the community if they have concerns that they're thinking that we're not, acknowledging from both ends, you or I. And if we could all get in the same room, and I would, that's just my suggestion. I'm sure you got 4 other suggestions up here.
Commissioner Vice Chair Anderson, you're recognized.
You said you got job requirements. How many people work there now?
So that question has been come up a couple times. The city of Defuniak employs 4 people. There are a couple other businesses on the airfield. I'd say they have anywhere from 4 to 7 total, give or take.
So the job creation, what's the numbers what number threshold do you have to meet?
So the 2 job requirements for 2 grants have requirements are the Florida Job Growth Grant Fund as a 500 job requirement. 200 of those are direct, meaning on the airfield in this project. 300 of those are indirect, meaning in the region. Those jobs were created because of the impact there on that airfield. And then Triumph has a 100 job creation. Typically, Triumph will require you to have 100 standalone jobs. But because of this project and their faith in this project, they've allowed us to duplicate the first 100 of Job Growth Grant Fund.
So what happens if you don't meet those requirements after you've they've approved them and you've received the money, but you don't meet those requirements.
So Triumph has a 10-year horizon. These grants have a 10-year ramp-up period. Again, Triumph's 100 jobs. So if we meet the first 100, we've met the requirements of Triumph, and we've met the first 100 of Job Growth Grant Fund. Triumph has a clawback phase. I think everyone's pretty familiar with that. Everyone has that. It's my understanding to date that has never been issued by the Triumph Gulf Coast Board of Commissioners. But again, that question did come up and give the same response. I can't, unfortunately, I can't tell you what will happen in 10 years from now if we don't meet.
Well, here's another issue. Y'all came to us, and I don't even know if you were working with the city. I was on the board of directors of that country club at the time.
They can't hear you.
I was on the board of directors of that country club at one time. And the city came to us and wanted to buy all those pine trees on the right side, on the left side, on the north side of number 7. And our president at the time was Mr. Chuck Ream, and he negotiated that contract. And y'all ended up paying us $90,000 to $95,000 for those trees. And that was supposed to be all y'all needed. But here you are coming back 5, 6 years later and saying, or even 10 years later, saying, no, now we need another easement. My question is, because you know, this board has worked with enough federal agencies to know that what happens today may not happen tomorrow. And my concern is that one day the FAA is going to come along and say, we've decided it's dangerous for hole number 7 of the Phoenix Springs Country Club or golf course, Eagle Springs, is dangerous for the public because planes are coming in here, and we want you to do away with that golf hole. Because this, I know you showed me the map where this is covered, but that can change. So what happens if that happens and the county is stuck with having to build another hole on somewhere on our property? City gonna chip in on that?
So the current runway, the 27 end, already has a displaced threshold for the road, and I'm assuming the golf course as well, but I'm mostly the road because RPZ. So if that ever were to occur, I can't speak to what would happen then. I would hope we would all agree that the economic development of an airport, the only one in this county, is a little more valuable than hole 7. So we would definitely want to look at that and be amenable to that.
It may be to you, but you're not a golfer. And you don't live out there, and it's not going to affect you if the county comes in, if the FAA comes in and says that hole's gone. You got to do something. This board, and it won't be me because this is my last term, but this board is going to have to say we're going to have to move number 7, and we're going to have to pay for it, and that's going to cost around $1 million. So I can't vote on this, and I know you need access to the airport, but I certainly don't agree that you need to go through a neighborhood where small children are there with dump trucks and semis, and I question how a semi is going to cross that railroad track because there's no traffic study showing me that it's not going to affect. And take that first 90-degree right turn without knocking down fence and doing stuff like that.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Gladwell.
Problem, as I say, and I don't think we need to wait any further. I think that, kicking the can down the road ain't the answer. I think we need to tell the folks that are here today the straight of it. And I agree with Commissioner Anderson. To get to this part, you're either going to have to build another railroad crossing, which I have been told definitively that's not possible. So what you're going to have to do is come from that red light, go across the railroad tracks to where you go into Eagle Springs, do a 90, go down the length of the golf course, do another 90, and then go do another 90 into that's 3 90s just to get into that airport that way. This is the same exact thing we're trying to stop at Mossy Head Industrial Park because it don't work. You got to have access that doesn't go through neighborhoods and go through winding roads. So I'm not willing to kick the can down the road. I don't think that's fair to you. I don't think it's fair to anybody. I'll make a motion that we don't approve the request.
I'll go ahead and second, but I still would have loved to have had a little bit more time, but I kind of agree with Commissioner Anderson and hold your breath, Commissioner Gladwell. So that's why I seconded it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion or questions? We're going to get to them. Anything at the board level?
No, I did want to just clarify something. It's my understanding from what the paperwork that I looked at that you showed me, that road is coming off of 90 and that it would literally turn out away from the neighborhood. The first house is the one that would be affected, and then it would turn in the opposite direction, correct? It would not go down the neighborhood. Is that correct?
Correct. It would head back west.
Okay.
Anything else? Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak? Mr. Osborne?
For the record, Alan Osborne, there's some issues you're not addressing. And, the FAA may approve it and all that kind of stuff, but they're not they're approving you to expand, and they're not taking any of the liability. What they will take liability for is the approaches themselves. They will bring an FAA examiner, and they will fly the approaches, and they will certify. But what I think you're seeing here today is somebody's asking you, the county, to take liability for the city of Defuniak's actions. Because when you TERPS an approach, and when you have an OIS, an obstacle intrusion zone, those can have effects upon property owners. And I think before y'all make any decisions, even though I know why you're making your decision now, I would want somebody with some legal expertise. There's a lot of case law about airport expansions and noise and things that Clay doesn't like to hear, like Burt Harris and takings. If something, these are very substantial liabilities when you're building an airport. Now, I've set up approaches and stuff like that, and a displaced threshold and turning approaches are more dangerous. That's what you saw that helicopter doing up there in D.C. A turning approach is always more dangerous, and it requires you to get low, usually over a neighborhood that's in the. And so there's just a lot of liability in there. I'm just saying before you approach anything or approve anything, you should really, most airports run a 20-year plan. Because if you expand and if you grow like you think you are, you will have to add some in. Look, nobody's going to come here on VFR approaches. That's not what big business does. They fly in here all weather, and they need an approach. And they are going to come to you if it becomes a safety matter, just like Commissioner Anderson said, and they may ask you to shut something down. And at that point, you'll be voluntold. And you may be paying for the damage that you do around it if they make a claim against you. So I would not leave, having watched the base have people come after them when we change things, I'm not saying I wouldn't approve it, but I wouldn't approve it until y'all you probably need to have a workshop and list all the questions that need to be answered before you go forward on liability. Because if you do not understand the TERPsing of an approach, if you do not understand obstacle intrusion zones and takeoff emergency zones and stuff like that, then you're voting in the blind. And maybe, I know it's not Clay's expertise, but I guarantee you he can find you somebody who does aviation law just to make sure you're not exposing the taxpayers to something. Defuniak needs a good instrument approach, but you don't want it over your house if you live there, I promise you.
Just so the board knows, that's nothing of what's presented before you today. This is simply a road easement to allow for terminal construction.
Is there anyone else? Madam Clerk, for the record, Greg Majors. Mr. Majors, you're recognized.
Good afternoon. In addition to the easement for the construction, it's also the easement for the road for the employees that are going to work at those three hangars, which is, according to the grant, which I read, it's 100 individuals is their goal they have to meet before they start having clawback Okay, so now we have entered a residential neighborhood with as many employees as we have at an elementary school on a daily basis. He spoke to the fact that they're going to have like 300 on site. There are no other accesses to the airport for these people to reach these facilities. So it's not just fix it up and the construction's going on. We've got, we're going to have ongoing traffic similar to what you'd have going down Walton Road between the high school, the Y Center, and Maud Saunders Elementary. That's about 300 employees. So it's not just going to be some simple little road in there. It's going to be tearing up the neighborhood. I'm a property owner there. My daughter lives there. I have 4 grandchildren that live one house from when that road's going in. There are 10 children in that neighborhood at the entrance to that road within, say, 50 yards. So it's not some little deal we're going to put things in here. I understand the city has grants. We want jobs in this community, but it sounds like they got ahead of themselves. Because if they want to put jobs out there at the airport, they can go out and find some other place to enter the airport, not through the neighborhood. In addition to that, Commissioner Glidewell mentioned transparency. There's been no transparency. Yes, maybe they had some workshops and specified some things, but they did not notify anybody in our neighborhood that anything was going on in regards to building that road. We just caught wind of it. That's how we're up here today, and the whole neighborhood's behind me. So I would ask you guys to definitely vote against it. I think that they need to get their act together prior to doing something, because there is no transparency with this thing. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Ryan Gilbert for the record. I live on the road directly impacted. I'm right across the road from where they're wanting to go into it. I'm here today to respectfully ask that you not approve this easement as currently proposed, and instead ask the city of Defuniak Springs to find an alternative access route that does not impact our neighborhood. The proposed access road would run directly in front of our homes through a quiet residential area. Between the 3 closest houses affected, like Mr. Major said, there are 10 small children who live and play in this neighborhood every single day. A road built to serve airport hangars would fundamentally change the safety and character of where these families live. This project is tied to a grant requiring the creation of a minimum of 100 jobs. Yet today the airport only has 4 employees. That is a very large assumption about future growth, and that kind of speculative development should not come at the expense of the families already living there. This proposal would also add traffic along a road that runs beside hole number 7, as we've stated, which the county owns. Increased vehicle traffic next to an active golf hole raises obvious safety concerns for golfers, pedestrians, and drivers alike. The county should be cautious about approving infrastructure that could negatively affect an asset that it owns and operates. I would also ask the board to consider the liability this creates. If an accident were to occur in the future, it would be difficult to say that those risks were not known at the time this easement was approved. Additionally, I encourage the board to think about the precedents this sets. If county land can be used or easements granted in ways that negatively impact existing neighborhoods, it becomes easier for similar situations to happen elsewhere in Walton County. We are not here to oppose the airport or economic development. We understand the airport is important to the community, but development should be done responsibly and in a way that does not harm the neighborhoods and families already here. For those reasons, we respectfully ask the board to deny the easement request and ask the city of Defuniak Springs to pursue an alternative access route that does not run through our neighborhood. Thank you.
All right, anyone, who else is planning to speak on this? Raise your hand. So we have one, you're the last one? Okay, come on up.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Paul Streaker.
What was that again?
What
was your name again?
Paul Streaker. Our house is not on this map, but there's a house that's built, and where they're proposing this is adjacent to my property line. Okay, I have 4 kids, 12, 11, 9, and 7. All right. I want you to understand what goes on at the end of this road where they're proposing to put this entrance. Okay. We got children that are riding bikes. They're learning to ride bikes. All right. Every year, Thanksgiving, we have a family field day where we have 50+ people, whether it's from the neighborhood, our family, friends. We all join right there, and that's where we celebrate. Okay. We have fireworks. I mean, we are growing children at the end of this road, at the beginning of this road. All right. to allow something like this to come in, you're going to rob these children of the safety and security and the prosperity that what we all want when we raise a family. You're bringing children into this world. All right, so please consider this and don't give that property over to the city, please. Thank y'all.
Mr. Townsend, any final remarks?
No, sir.
Okay, having none, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Curry?
For the motion that I seconded?
Yes. Wait.
To deny the motion,
The motion was to deny.
Yes, correct.
Made by Commissioner Gladwell.
Seconded by me.
Seconded by Commissioner Curry. Okay, Commissioner Curry votes.
Deny.
So you're voting in favor of the motion, so aye. Commissioner Johns? Aye. Commissioner Gladwell? Aye. Commissioner Anderson recused. The chair votes aye. Show the proposal failed 4-1 with Commissioner Anderson recusing.
The motion passed.
The motion carries.
The motion passed and it is denied.
Okay, any additional public?
If I may, real quick,
Yes.
outside of that, thank y'all, commissioners. Real quick, I'm glad that staff brought Lowe's grant. The city will be applying for this grant as well for hopefully fire station renovations. So we would truly appreciate the chairman's letter of support for that grant if we could get one. So we would appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, if you would consider us in assisting that.
On what was it?
The Lowe's grant program.
Oh.
The city will be applying for renovations to the fire station, so we would appreciate y'all's support on that.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
All right, public comment? Who's planning to speak from the public? Just one? All right, Mr. Osborne, you're up. Anyone else? Okay.
For the record, Alan Osborne, I'd like to say that when y'all were voted in, that you all take an oath to the Constitution to enforce the laws of this county, this state, and all that. When Stan Sunday was terminated last summer, I stood up here and it was said, here's some things that have not happened. Almost 5 years ago, this board made a motion to bring back in 60 days the drainage standards and brief it to Sandestin. It was made by Mike Barker. That has yet failed to happen. Over a year ago, Donna Johns, and I've got the email, said that after y'all were all briefed, there was going to be a public briefing in front of the BCC on that. Now, the Florida statute says the local government issuing a development order in DRIs is primarily responsible for monitoring and enforcing all the provisions. Now, it was stood in that meeting, and Brad, you participated in it, and I got told that my complaints were thoroughly investigated and found without merit. Well, this public records request that I shared with Mr. Curry showed that nobody ever put my complaints into the system and that none of these documents that I emailed with the complaints exist in there. And what's really important is your documents, not the ones I say, because there was a set of emails from the county admitting that Driftwood and other parts of Sandestin are out of compliance. And these are dated 2008, 2009. Here's one from your then DRI coordinator, Renee Bradley. None of this is in my complaints. And what it says is that they've got to change all this, and it's in violation. In fact, there's 11 different items that they discussed with the SOA. Now, I filed a code complaint, and it's not there. You have code problems. It just doesn't exist. How do you thoroughly investigate papers that aren't in the system? How do you thoroughly investigate my complaint that ain't there? You don't. It was just a lie. You can't keep doing this to us. This is a problem. There's no solution to it because we can't get to the truth. Now, the truth is, in 2010, the developer made an application. There's 5 sets of papers here that walk all the way up to the county in 2009 declaring that the developer would have to do an NOPC. Secondly, in that meeting that Mr. Barker made, it was represented by the staff that y'all voted on that there would be no project approvals in Sandestin until that was completed. That didn't happen. Y'all approved all kind of stuff. So here we stand today, and the NOPC was submitted, but when they realized it would prove my lawsuit true, it was withdrawn. So you have an NOPC withdrawn, it's 15 years old.
Mr. Osborne, let's.
Hey, I know, Brad, just whatever, man. Just whatever. You said I want procedures followed, and I'm telling you I want them followed, little boy. I want them followed.
You're out of order, Mr. Osborne.
You've been out of order since you've been there. I want the law followed. If you don't like it, too bad.
All right. Anyone else from the board?
No.
Seeing none, Commissioner Anderson moves we rise. Shall that done without objection? We are adjourned.